A few weeks ago, authorities found white flags basically flying on the Brooklyn Bridge. And they were concerned about it because, A, it could have been a possible note from terrorists. And they also didn't know why or how the individuals who did it had access to take down American flags and then hang these white flags. So this has been a mystery for a few weeks. They've been trying to investigate and figure out what's been going on. And now 2 German-born engineers that are living in Berlin have come forward and they're saying, look, we're the ones who did it. We're artists. It was part of a peaceful message that we were trying to send. And so we'll see whether or not there are going to be any charges filed against them. But the reason why they did this is because the person who designed the Brooklyn Bridge was actually a German-born engineer, someone by the name of John Roebling. And so they kind of wanted to honor him by flying these white flags and kind of sending like a peaceful message. I want to give you a little bit of the New York Times report. From our Berlin background, we were a little surprised that it got the reaction it did. We really didn't intend to embarrass the police. And of course, the NYPD was embarrassed because this was a security breach and how did it happen under their watch? They also said, we saw the bridge, which was designed by a German trained in Berlin, who came to America because it was the place to fulfill his dreams as the most beautiful expression of a great public space. That beauty was what we were trying to capture.
I love that these guys are German and we scared the shit out of them. They're like, man, in Berlin, people are not this mental about things. And like, oh, you have desecrated our bridge, you have crossed security, you have breached, you're in trouble. So they phoned this in, like literally. They were like, okay, we're not coming back to the U.S. because God knows what's going to happen to us over there.
Yeah.
But like, okay, yeah, it was us. Sorry about that. Okay, we were trying to do art. Right? We're in this topsy-turvy world now where the Germans are so peaceful and we're so warlike that we scare the hell out of the Germans.
Are you crazy right now? Are you really? You're crazy. Okay, I could totally understand why people were panicking about it. This isn't in some random peaceful country. And look, I know Germany has had its history, and so I'm not trying to say that they haven't been victims of any type of violence. But I'm also going to say that, I mean, really, like, we were attacked on 9/11. New Yorkers are still very, very scared of what could possibly happen next. They know that they could possibly be targets. I mean, you see something like that happen, not only does it pinpoint a security breach, but it makes you wonder, how did that happen?
Yeah, no, of course, one, it makes everybody wonder. There's no question about that. Number two, when we did the original story and we didn't know who it was, I thought that I would have bet a lot of money that it was hipsters, okay? So now, I don't know if they're considered hipsters in Germany, okay, but they were artists. Now, they say it could have been terrorism. Now, you see, what the terrorists do is they're not really being into symbols. They're into bombs. If they get up on top of the Brooklyn Bridge, instead of being like, hey, here's a warning that we're going to come at a later time, they would be like, we're here, and they would have planted the bomb, okay? So, of course, I thought it was obvious that they were artists of some sort.
Really?
Right? Yeah. So, again, if they had the access, that would be the time to strike if they were actually dangerous. We're so panicked. And you're right, it's New York. It's been a long time since 9/11, but there's still raw feelings about that, and it is a security breach, etc. But look, there's these security breaches, as they explain, all throughout the world. They've gone on top of so many different buildings and bridges.
Yeah, they're scaling buildings in Tokyo. No one notices, no one cares.
And back in New York, 40 years ago, there was an artist who, walked a tightrope between the two twin towers, right? So now I know it's a little bit of a different world, obviously now, but like the rest of the world, especially the Europeans, are like can't believe how much of a police state we live in, that if you try to do art on a bridge, they're like, you better not. Look,
it goes
one of the
beyond,
cops,
sorry.
it's just, Stephen Davis, the police department's chief spokesperson, said, if they want to come in and speak with us, we certainly would be more than happy to entertain them. Okay, in other words, yeah, no. Even though we already know you're artists, you embarrassed us. You come here. We'll show you what's up.
I know, but you also have to think about it in the context of the fear-mongering that happens in the press every single day. You have people like Dianne Feinstein going on CNN, I believe it was, saying that we need to be worried about terrorists. We're less safe today than we were 2 years ago because these terrorists have bombs, really big bombs. I'm quoting her verbatim.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that
Pretty sure they had bombs all along.
But they're big bombs now.
Oh,
they were
okay.
little bombs before, now they're big bombs.
Oh, I didn't know.
No, I mean, that's what you're hearing day in, day out. You know, there's this justification for us going to war, a justification for us using so much force in other countries. So people are on edge, and I can understand why people would be worried. When it comes to the NYPD, yes, they were embarrassed. They didn't like the fact that this happened under their watch. And by the way, the NSA should be a little concerned that this happened under their watch, because they're going around spying on every single one of us, but for some reason, they can't prevent the Boston bombing, and they can't prevent two German artists from flying white flags on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, but don't worry, they have now literally waved their own white flag. They have surrendered. They say it's us, and they have evidence that it is them now, because a lot of people were taking credit. So mystery is solved. Everything's going to be fine. Now, the next part of the mystery is why, by the way, right? Because that's what I've been wondering all along. Why the white flag? What does it mean, right? So they said they wanted to, quote, celebrate the beauty of public space. I have no idea what that means. Okay. And I realized today I had an epiphany as to why sometimes modern art bothers me.
Oh no, we're
Okay.
going to get into this conversation
Yes.
now.
Okay.
Great.
Here, in fact, I'll quote the guy who did the walk between the Twin Towers, who these German artists referred back to as one of their inspirations.
Do you, boo?
Okay. When they asked him, why did you walk across in that tightrope? He said, there is no why.
I think that that's a really great explanation.
Okay, so my epiphany was, it's the same reason that religious fundamentalists bother me. It's because they don't exist in the logic-based world, which in the case of religion can be dangerous. In the case of art, it's not dangerous. It's, you know, your opinion, man.
Yeah.
And there's no harm in it, right? But I live and celebrate the logic-based world.
Yes.
So when someone tells me, when a French tightrope walker tells me there is no why,
Right.
I think, yeah, agree to disagree, and that
Maybe-
kind of really annoys me.
Maybe art isn't meant to be logic-based. Maybe it's a feeling. Maybe it's a feeling you get, and maybe it's okay to embrace that. It's not like artists are sitting there trying to do a political talk show. They're trying to inspire people through their art. They're supposed to get people to feel something.
You see, what you just did there was logical. That you used reason, right? See, that's a good explanation.
Yeah.
Like if they had said, we were trying to evoke a certain emotion, or here's what we were going for, or here's why it was white, right? Like, I understand why they chose the Brooklyn Bridge, because of the German guy who built it. I understand the date. It was the day he died. The white thing, there's well, they're French. I mean, so they're German. Ja, ja. And so they just wanted us to schlupen das, because das ist Vitamin.
My favorite part of the story is when I turned over to the producers and I saw Amira, who's one of our newer producers, go like this during your argument. I mean, you know.
No, much love, much love. It's okay.